Hello again, Corey. Thank you for your comments on my video dualic tendency. On your comment that you personally think the brain has many different specialized sub-organs and that it's not as homogeneous as it would appear just by looking at a dead one, or dead one, a live one. I think perhaps I haven't been able to at this point express exactly what it is I'm trying to communicate, and I will endeavour to do so in this video, at least push forward more to that point. I am enjoying this, and I'm enjoying your links, which are in some way an answer or a little place for me to go to get a bit more insight into your responses through not having to repeat yourself. So you obviously sending me to these different video responses that you've already made, which is nice. It's good to be able to sit and watch and allow what is being said, and I appreciate. I guess I'm attracted, if you like, to your personality and the way you present things, which is why I'm wanting to continue with this dialogue, because what you say sparks off my own thoughts, and that's what dialogue's about, isn't it? But in this case, in listening to what you say, I find it quite enjoyable and helpful. So thank you for making videos and putting them on the internet. So in a sense, you also say that the universe is neither one or many. I think this is where I'm getting at. To me, such an expression is coming through the duality aspect that I'm talking about and have been talking about. So I've written a few notes. I've listened to two of those video links, the video on otherness and the video on the universe doesn't have a self, which in turn are reply videos to other people. Jotted down a couple of quick things that you've said that I would like to comment on. The shedding of otherness, the appeal to the ultimate becoming one. You'd argue against the idea, and you look at death as being other, and you want no part of, or you would choose to die. You want no part of life forever in the virtual reality. Everyone speaking the same language to you would be a horrifying thing. The need for tolerance for diversity, accepting diversity as a tool for good, open to otherness with non-attachment to ego. Again, this is where I'm focused upon in regard to duality. Others and self are expressions of duality. I guess I could comment on the death aspect and what have you, but for now I won't. Apart from saying that I guess that's in relation somehow to what I'm saying, and where consciousness is taking itself, not us, but itself, which we are parts of, the diverse parts of, nonetheless. In terms of either combining biological material with mechanical material, robotic, computer, etc., or completely doing away with the biological side of it in preference to the mechanical, machine, robotic side of things, therefore becoming, if consciousness was to be able to be in a non-degradable or a less degradable substance than the biological, which is born, grows, has different needs which have to be attended to, eventually gets old and dies. And to be robbed of death, I guess, is what I'm hearing you say. Just you can't see yourself in that role of living forever, if you like, within a physical universe that seems to be infinite. I can kind of appreciate that, of course, in the sense that I myself have thought this through too. As you know, if I had the choice, would I want to take that choice? And it would depend, I think, the answer that I came up with for myself, in the sense is that it would depend. Am I going to be just in the one form for that forever time? Then no thanks, I don't think so. But if I was able to shift myself, thinking in terms of myself being consciousness, which can shift from form to form, the assumption being, then I would like to be able to shift from form to form. And I guess in a way it's just come to me that that's a bit like reincarnation, or the belief system of reincarnation, where you do shift from form to form, and you have experience in life, in that life, in that form, and then you die, and then you come back and repeat the process of being within the form, a form. I'm not sure that we actually do have a choice. Do we have a choice to be in this form? I don't know. I don't remember having a choice as I am in this personality named William. I have no recollection of a past life. This life that I'm living and have lived for the last 50 years is the only memory I have of being alive. And in that sense, I don't have a memory of, say, a prior life, prior to this, or coming from a different universe, for want of a better expression. I don't have a memory of saying, yeah, I'd like to try that out, I'd like to do that, I'd like to be born into that family unit and live in that country and rah-de-rah-rah, and off you go, and do it. No, I simply, and I think a lot of us, most of us, in fact, well, at least within the Western belief systems, that's the one life we have. I don't have a recollection of choosing this, but nonetheless I have it. So I think in terms of death, we don't know what's on the other side, so we don't know that we can't. We may die and find ourselves still aware, still conscious, and having to then deal with that situation, whatever that situation might be. It's just some things we don't have a choice, lots of things we don't have a choice in, but the things we do have a choice in is probably the thing that I'm focusing on and want to continue focusing on. So I think I wrote down a few things while I was listening to you, and occasionally having to pause to a couple of things I thought were just looking through my notes. There's this, an expression. He said the task is to see one can still have a sense of compassion and minimal expectations. Feels good to get back to the world. So many things to be thankful for. Gratitude. Who said we deserve life's necessities? I thought that expression there, gratitude, in order to even have gratitude, we need life's necessities. We can't, for example, expect a starving, hungry child to be grateful, to even understand the concept of gratitude. We need life's necessities in order to even express gratitude. So I think, in a sense, we deserve that. We do. Everyone deserves what we know to be life's necessities. I think this unity of diversity, merger, and division seem to be oppositional forces. These forces are not really opposition. It's our understanding. That is what sees these observations as being in opposition. I'll move on to the universe doesn't have a self. I think for me that sparked my interest even more, and I did a lot of notes on what was happening and what was being said. But one of the things you commented on is that there's this new agey thing. It seems to be a new age expression, which is everything is all one. We are of the universe, not just in it. We are the way the universe haunts itself. Interesting expressions. I think when we make an expression like the physical universe, we are referring to the matter of it. The universe as a physical reality is animated by its own natural mechanisms, but in itself is not a being, in the same sense that our human bodies are not beings. What defines everything is consciousness. In the sense that we can say the physical universe, we are able to do so through the human instrument, the body. Now the human instrument has many parts, and I guess this is getting to your comments on dead brains and how you see the sub-parts, working within the whole instrument. So it has many parts, the human instrument, the body, and simply expressing the words the physical universe, many of those parts are working together to make that expression possible. However, be that as it may, we do not need to understand or even acknowledge that this is what is happening. You see before you an individual who says the words the physical universe. It is not necessary for you to acknowledge the parts which the words together in order for me to express the words the physical universe. Those that work together, I should say, not words together, they work together. Those parts working together. Those parts include the brain, the eyes, the ears, the mouth, the lungs, the air that are used to assist in making the sound of the words, etc. You simply acknowledge the whole person before you as a single identity expressing the words the physical universe. Now, within that expression, there are variables. One of those variables is what I am meaning when I say that physical universe, and another is what you understand the physical universe to be, and whether in fact we are even on the same page. and regards. What we understand when we hear what is it we understand when we hear the expression the physical universe? The underlying question here seems to be, do we even need to be on the same page in regards to how we understand the physical universe? And my own response to that question would be, yes, we do. And this is only because the likelihood of our being able to enter meaningful dialogue, which transcends the tedium of debate/argument, necessitates being on the same page in order that growth and understanding prosper. Until then, yes, we remain within the confines of debate/argument, which in every way is a product of duality, of thinking in terms of dualism. Excuse me. This is precisely what I'm attempting to convey in regards to consciousness. Consciousness is not physical, yet it exists within the physical universe. It's that ghost in the machine aspect again. Where it is, in a sense, on the same page with itself has to do with that aspect of it which rides the eye of the storm of the human drama, which I mentioned in previous videos. It is the human drama, which includes debate/argument, that is not in sync with consciousness. It is not on the same page. And the actual evidence of this can be observed by understanding this actuality and the part we each play in that drama, and shows clearly enough precisely what not to do in order to align with the objective of consciousness as it pertains to our shared reality, life on earth, and in relation to that, the greater reality, which of course is the physical universe. It can be observed that incredible variation exists here on this planet and in the physical universe. This is simply something which cannot be denied. However, to separate that variance from wholeness or oneness is worthwhile avoiding, in the same way as explain that you do not separate the expression you hear from the individual before you, saying the physical universe, by acknowledging those variables that allow for this individual to express, even though those variables certainly exist. You don't have to acknowledge them. They also certainly work incongruent in order to express. They are working as one, even though they are labelled as parts of one thing. In the same way, this is consciousness. If it were possible to see consciousness as one thing, in the sense that we could observe it as a physical object, would we see it as one thing? The answer, I think, would be that it would depend on what was doing the observing. Yet, is it not consciousness doing the observing? Is this beginning to make sense to you? So, I refer to the graphic of the hurricane picture as an example of what I am attempting to convey. The dependence on anyone seeing consciousness as one thing has to do with the individual and how the individual chooses to see things. My own understanding, as I have shared already, is that consciousness has a definite purpose in regard to the physical universe, and that this can be observed by the individual if the individual so chooses. So here we are, billions of individuals clustered into groups which are focused upon variables rather than wholeness. And when I say wholeness, I'm referring to our shared reality upon one planet, in one galaxy, in one universe. So here we are, two individuals interacting and exchanging information. Is the information on the same page? And if not, then why not? Yes, there will be variables, yet these are variables. Yet are these variables useful for unity or useful for separation? And it depends on how they are used. So I guess, Corey, that my main point here in the acknowledgement of one thing, and my acknowledgement of the one thing being made up of many variables, is that if we continue to allow our focus to be on the variables, then we remain by and large within the confines of duality and subject to the distraction of human drama. And being the subjects of human drama prevents the individual from supporting the purpose of consciousness in relation to the physical universe. The individual remains ignorant to that purpose inasmuch as the individual is distracted, even so far as simply not affording themselves even the opportunity to discover what possible purpose consciousness has for the physical universe. So what is it that compels the individual to contribute to the human drama rather than to the purpose of consciousness? And the answer is simply in how we see ourselves. For the most part, we see ourselves as this human instrument. It is that simple. It is understandable, and it is something we can each agree on and relate to, and indeed respond to one another. But imagine now thinking of yourself not as the human instrument, but rather as the consciousness residing within that instrument for the lifetime of that instrument. How does such a shift in awareness change the way consciousness is then expressed through that human individual instrument? I say it changes things profoundly. We can begin to see others as we see in ourselves. They are consciousness imbued within individual form, separate no longer. Is it that easy? No, not really. We need to understand what consciousness is, and it is one thing divested within many things, and has an actual plan in regard to the physical universe in which it resides. In the very real terms, what happens then, concurrent with the shift in realization and self-realization, we are not what we have been educated to believe we are. And our shift in that realization can only go in one direction, to support what it is that consciousness is obviously and purposely doing within the physical universe. Regardless of the billions of individuals who have no comprehension of this fact, due to the variables, the many, many variables of the distractive indulgences within that human drama. The human drama is creating the storm, and yes, in ignorance, the fullness of consciousness is not operating through their individual lives. They simply do not recognize themselves because education has not permitted the recognition, and even distorts that recognition through devices of duality such as religion, as in God concepts, which usurp the one consciousness through misrepresentation and impose belief systems. None of this matters to consciousness in as far as the human drama and human belief systems simply do not stifle or inhibit the agenda of consciousness. It continues onwards. It's not that it's indifferent towards that drama and its obvious destruction and dysfunction, but it's simply seeing the drama as something disconnected from the greater reality. It's at that point in the eye of the storm, if you like. Consciousness is on the same page with itself. I think I'll leave it at that. And again, once more, thank you for listening. I'd like to, I'm going to listen to your thought as incoherent, and the other video, I think a big story, yes, and we'll likely comment on them too, but hopefully that's helped clarify what I'm trying to convey and express here. Yes, I agree with variables, they're there, of course. It's just that it's all one, and I don't think it's a matter of nitty. But anyhow, we'll leave it at that for now. Thank you.